The midwife disappeared from history, but the Slonimi child, a girl named Judah, remained. To protect Elbin's heir, Gavin, she was raised alongside him. 2 years later, they were joined by Gavin's younger brother, Theron. When Gavin and Judah were 8 years old, a girl from a family of minor aristocrats, Eleanor of Tiernan, was brought in to serve as Gavin's betrothed. Judah and Gavin developed a way of using their bond to communicate, a code scratched into their skin to send messages to each other. Together, the four young people grew to a weird, halting version of adulthood. Tradition in politics dictated that Gavin would rule the empire, Ellie would marry him and bear his children, and Theron would command his army. Judah's only job, though, was to survive, so that Gavin would. Neither Gavin's father nor the seneschal who managed his household understood their strange connection, but they understood that Judah must be kept close and tightly controlled. When she showed an interest in reading, the library was banned. When she fell in love with the stableman, Darid, the seneschal sentenced him to death and had her caned. The more time passed, the more she resented her fate, as the completely unwarlike Theron resented his, and the smart, ambitious Ellie resented hers. Only Gavin, living in a world created for his amusement, was happy, and that didn't last. Gavin's father was determined to break the bond between Judah and his son. To that end, he waged war on the Nolli, a nation of people known for the uncanny mental connection between their fighters. While capturing a Nolli leader, he was injured in a coup perpetrated by his own men and died soon after returning to the city. With him died the lavish world of courtiers and luxury inside the house, and into the old man's place stepped the seneschal, whose vision for the house and the city surrounding it was very different than the one Mad Martin and his heirs had built. The seneschal didn't want to break the bond between Gavin and Judah. He wanted to understand it, to control it, and, most important, to replicate it, so their scratch code could be put to use over a broader network. The seneschal thought the Nolli leader was the only one who might know how the bond worked, and so he kept the prisoner alive. In the empty, looted house, the four young people worked to eke out something like survival. When she discovered that Darid hadn't been murdered after all, and that Gavin had known and pointedly not told her, Judah fled to an abandoned tower in the oldest part of the house. The house magus, Nathaniel Clare, who lived in the city with his young apprentice, Belinda Dovetail, told the seneschal he could convince her to come down, so that the seneschal could experiment with the bond. So the seneschal agreed to let Nate into the house.